caused a lot of countries to be very scared, to think, well, are they going to do this with us? Are they going to suddenly stop supplying, stop updating? And the Canadians and Portuguese have come out and said that in respect of the F-35. Caused a lot.
Canada's fighter jet debate has suddenly become much bigger than just planes. Saab is offering Canada more than the Gripen. It is offering control. Control over data, software, and the secrets that shape modern air power. And that puts the F-35 deal under a whole new spotlight. Because in today's world, the real power is not only in the jet, but in who controls the system behind it. So now the question is no longer just which fighter is better. The real question is whether Canada wants sovereignty or dependence.
Friend, welcome back with new update. On April 10th, a new twist hit Canada's fighter jet debate, and this one could change everything. Saab, the Swedish company behind the Gripen E, is now offering something bigger than just jets. It is offering Canada control. According to the report, Saab wants to build a secure, sovereign data center in Montreal so Canada can keep its top-secret mission data and intelligence inside its own country, not in the United States. And that is a direct challenge to Lockheed Martin's F-35 deal, because F-35 fleet data is tied to systems in Fort Worth, Texas. In simple words, Saab is telling Canada, buy our jets and your most sensitive military data stays on Canadian soil. That means jobs in Montreal, more national control, and less dependence on Washington at a time when trust, sovereignty, and defense independence are becoming huge political issues. So now the real question is no longer just which fighter is better. The real question is this: should Canada go all in on a single F-35 fleet, or should it choose a mixed fleet with the Gripen and keep more control over its own future? This is where the story gets serious, because this is not only about fighter jets anymore. It is about power, sovereignty, and who truly controls Canada's defense in a dangerous new era. And this is where the story turns from a fighter jet debate into something much bigger. Imagine trusting your entire Air Force to a system that could be influenced by an ally whose own president is openly talking about weakening NATO or even walking away from it. That is exactly why Saab's new offer hits so hard. The company says its purpose-built data center in Montreal would handle all work related to the fighter mission system, and it would be staffed by Canadians with Canada-US security clearance. In other words, the data stays in Canada, the control stays in Canada, and the people managing it are Canadians. Saab says Gripen data, communications, and technical systems would all be kept securely inside Canadian borders, giving the Royal Canadian Air Force full independent control over its aircraft software and its most sensitive information. And that matters more than ever, because modern fighter jets do not just fly missions, they collect power. They gather flight paths, mission profiles, communications, video feeds, radar locations, electronic signatures, and even clues about how friendly and enemy forces operate. That kind of data can shape future wars, guide missiles, expose tactics, and decide who has the advantage before a battle even begins. So this is no longer just about buying a jet. It is about who owns the secrets, who controls the software, and whether Canada wants its future air power in its own hands or tied to decisions made somewhere else. And this is the heart of the debate. It is not hard to see why the Americans want to control that data. They may be happy to sell the jets and let allies fly them, but the real power is not just in the aircraft. It is in the software, the systems, and the data behind every mission. If Canada truly wants to protect its sovereignty in a world that feels more uncertain by the year, then it cannot think only about planes. It has to think about energy, infrastructure, software, and most importantly, data. Because in today's world, data is not just information, it is power. Every flight, every signal, every radar track, every mission profile can be used to train future AI systems, improve military planning, and shape the balance of power for decades. And if all of that stays under the control of one foreign country, then this stops being just a defense purchase and becomes a sovereignty risk. That is why this decision matters so much.
Canada can still work with the United States, still stay aligned, and still hope the alliance remains strong. But handing over total control for the next 20, 30, or even 50 years could be a historic mistake. No country should casually give away that level of independence, especially in defense. That is why Saab's sweeter offer has caught so much attention, because it speaks directly to Canada's fear of losing control in a future that is becoming more unpredictable, more technological, and far more dangerous.
The article goes much deeper, and one of the biggest ideas in it is Saab's dual fleet strategy for Canada. Saab says the Gripen stands out because it is a true multi-role fighter, built to handle air-to-air combat, ground strikes, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare, all from the same aircraft. That kind of flexibility becomes a huge advantage when military budgets are tight and every jet has to do more than one job. The Gripen can fly above 50,000 feet and reach speeds of up to Mach 2, but for Canada, its biggest strength may be something even more practical. It can take off and land on short runways, which is critical for remote northern bases where infrastructure is limited and conditions are harsh. Saab reportedly presented several options, with Canada buying anywhere from 40 to 88 aircraft under this proposal. And that is where the Gripen starts to look especially dangerous as a competitor, because Arctic operations are brutal. Many remote bases cannot support the heavy maintenance demands of the F-35, but the Gripen was designed for simpler upkeep, shorter maintenance intervals, and repairs that can be done in the field. Saab even showed documents claiming that similar aircraft in extreme climates had much lower grounding rates. In simple words, Saab is making the case that the Gripen is not just cheaper or more flexible, it may actually be better suited for the reality of defending Canada's vast north in a dangerous and uncertain future. But now I really want to hear from you. What do you think about this new Saab offer? Should Canada stay with a full F-35 fleet, or should it move toward a mixed fleet? Right now, those are the only two realistic choices, because Canada has already committed to a certain number of F-35s. The real question is what happens next. Do we keep going all in on one American platform and tie our future completely to the United States? Or do we leave room for more control, more flexibility, and more sovereignty? In my view, if Canada depends too much on one foreign system, it risks turning its Air Force into something it does not fully control. And in a world that is becoming more unstable, that is a dangerous path. Because if relations ever go bad, and parts, software support, or maintenance access suddenly become a problem, that could put Canada in a very weak position. That is why I believe sovereignty matters more now than ever before. In the future, control over your own defense may be just as important as the weapons themselves. So drop your opinion in the comments, answer the quiz linked to this video, and let me know where you stand. And if you enjoy this kind of content but haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and help the channel grow. A huge number of regular viewers still are not subscribed, and your support really makes a difference. Thanks for watching, have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.